Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Suzanne, and you're here in Houston, Texas at my home, Legend. Come on in, I want to show you around.
This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Duin Stewart, and I'm an interior designer here in Houston, Texas, and you're in my home called Legend. So Legend, this home, was built by the Howe family. It is the last commission of Birdsall Briscoe. Birdsall Briscoe is one of the foremost architects here in Houston and in Southeast. I'm very fortunate I got to live in another Briscoe, my first house, just down the street. Beautiful, beautiful details. He's just a genius in classical architecture. And so of course I was drawn to the house because it was a Briscoe. But secondarily, the history of the house, I actually knew the owners. It's the second generation of the original owners, a woman's named Dorothy Knox Houghton. And she's a charming character of a woman. And there's a little bit of both Dorothys in every room here in the house. So the house came on the market, I guess in 2019. And as soon as I saw it come on the market, I called immediately to see the house. I'd only seen the formal spaces before. Dorothy and her mother were always very generous about opening their home to whatever society, whatever fundraiser. And so many, many people have been into this house. But I'd never seen the private spaces. So I think I told a little fib to the agent and said that I was looking for one of my clients. Anyway, I got in, got access, and saw the house completely that first time and walked away, and I thought, well, that's a big project. I didn't realize at the time that it was going to be my husband and I that bought the house. But in 2021, we bought this project, and it's been a daunting challenge, but it's so rewarding at the end. Many times frustrations, but soup to nuts. It's a jewel that needed to be revived. Hi, welcome to my living room. This is a classic Birdsall Briscoe room. The detailed work on the moldings, the crown molding, the wood paneling is so typical of his exceptional effort towards detail. We have hidden speakers in the ceiling, and after which I wanted to do a high gloss finish. A little bit of a nod to today's 21st century, but still keeping in character with the historical house. Triple hung windows are amazing, and I haven't curtained them because we're so far away from the street. I don't need the privacy, and I just love having the natural light. So stay tuned. I might add drapery in a little while. The rug itself started the room. This is an Ushak I found in auction. It's very unusual, and the colors are very vibrant. I just love it. And yes, maybe it's a bit small for the room, but I also love the wood floors with the beautiful chevron. So I wanted to be able to show that as well. This is one of the pieces from my collection inventory. This is an Italian piece, an Italian sofa. It actually comes in pieces. I've just done it in a lightweight yellow linen, but I love, as you'll see when you walk through the house, you'll see the element of the goldenrod color wafting through the whole first floor. Everything has to be comfortable for me and useful. So we've got outdoor fabrics on most things, but this happens to be a tufted leather, and it helps to separate the room, but yet join it. So we have a seating area over on the left and a seating area on the right, and it allows us to have a lot of people in one room, comfortably. So I like books. I like design books. And this sort of like is a menagerie of some of my favorite books. And may look a little cluttered, but I think it's organized. So I like to have them at my hand, and everyone feels more comfortable around books. They're always a disclaimer. The fireplace itself, what I love, I would turn it on right now, but it needs a new battery. This is a point and shoot. So we use our fireplaces. We have a total of 4 in the house, and they get used constantly. In fact, even though it's almost July, we still use daily. Every morning I use the fireplace up in my sitting room. The collection of books came from the Dorothy's. I have something in every room that I bought from the estate. And so there's a little piece of Dorothy in every room. But by and large, the artwork is all ours. We've got beautiful landscapes. We've got a wonderful painting that a friend of mine's father painted of the Sacré-Cœur. Nice big piece. And the china, these lovely little cupboards. Sadly, I lost my mother, but I have mementos of her in every room as well. So this was a collection of china that belonged to my mother, Tamari. Example of our lampshades, famous, we sell, Maison Maison. And you'll see those in every room. We have something from our collection. The banquet was done specifically so that I had the opportunity to entertain using the whole room. Let me show you our library now. Welcome to the library. Poppy and I want to show you our favorite room. Come on, Pops. So this room, by and large, is in its original shell. What did change the most about this room? The old way had a very odd, almost mid-century profile. And so we pulled that off and brought back to a more traditional setting. By the way, this stone came from the same quarry that did the Rockefeller Center. We love old books. We love the feel of the patina of the old leather-bound books. My husband has a whole collection of Daniel Silva and every paperback you can think of. And so what we did for that is we hid it behind these doors because paperbacks are never pretty. So he has his own little stash. God knows what all's in here, but can you see? So that was our way of hiding, but having usable storage. The drapery in here is actually the Stewart hunting tartan, which of course that's our surname, Stewart. And so that's quite fun. And this, my husband actually uses as his office. He's semi-retired. And this is a moment where you can see it with a clean desk. Usually it's a storm in here, and it was prior to you all arriving. The Suzanne is one of my favorites, and it kind of was the starting point for the color palette here. This rug, this is a beautiful to breathe. I found this in auction. It came out of a New York City apartment, and it's room size, and it's warm, and it's cozy, and it sort of set the tone for the color palette. One of my favorite things about this room are the book-lined doors. These doors were actually right here, exactly as they are, but they were flipped. So these were a flat panel because they were the interior of the closet. And then on the other side, they're paneled, beautiful. So what we did to fix this, we went and bought books out of auction houses, and we cut them in half and made these book doors. The biggest change in here, there used to be a bar here and the hallway was here. And I never understood why Briscoe, this is one of my questions I would have loved to have asked him, why he didn't center the fireplace on the door. Well, we fixed that when we added an elevator behind here, and we moved the bar to the front. And then come on in, I'll show you the elevator. This little alcove houses now our elevator. And it also is the back of where the powder room is. So this is where most of the renovation happened. So all we did was we shifted this door casing over, centered it on the fireplace, and then built in the elevator shaft and then shortened the size of the previous powder room. I like to call this the ladies' powder room, which I'll show you now. Welcome to the ladies' powder room. So what all can I tell you about this lovely space? First of all, the wall covering is actually a friend of mine, Susan from Repotique. She sold this collection to Thibaut, and Thibaut is the one that represents this line, but these are historical representations of previous art plates. Beautiful, I love it so much. And then because the room had to shorten tremendously, there really wasn't sort of a ladies' dressing area. So I needed to incorporate as much as I could in a very small space. I found this lovely storage piece in auction, and it fit exactly about the space I needed it to house the important things that need to be hidden underneath and yet still be an architecturally a significant piece. The mirror that you will see here belonged to the James Garner estate. He's one of my favorite actors, and just kind of what's special to me. Not only I like the scale of it so that you get a chance to check yourself out, but it also helps to double the size of the room. So because I had the very small space constraints, I had to look to get just the right sconces that would fit this space. Absolutely lovely. It's baguettes. They're just charming. And one of my favorite things, I use them often in projects. I mean, when I can find them, they're all antiques. But then I had something that I found in another little auction, tiny little petit chandelier that's reminiscent of baguettes, but not exactly. The drapery, I used an old antique silk sari that I just liked a little bit of an introduction of the textile, completely opposite of the character of the wallpaper. The stone that I used for the countertop is just a beautiful, beautiful green marble. Just has a lot of movement to it, and I felt that it needed it to balance out the significance of the pattern on the wallpaper. Other than that, the art is from some of my Venetian prints. They're reminiscent of some travels that we've had in the past. Everything, again, the Grand Tour. So those are Italian, French, English, Hollywood. Legend is on an acre of land in prime spot in River Oaks. It's a beautiful neighborhood, the most beautiful, I think, in Houston. This house was built in 1959, 60. It's my age. I guess that maybe makes it a little bit more special too. The style, the architecture, classic Greek revival. There's been some nuances taken. I could tell that maybe the Dorothys had a little bit of influence on their cousin Birdsall. So this house had some elements that were became a little too modern for his classical architecture. So we took it back to what Birdsall would have wanted in the beginning. And that's evident like in the before and afters of the library. They had a little bit of almost a mid-century kind of treatment to the library wall, and so we took it back to the classics that would have been, I think, appropriate for the time. Really, it was most important to keep pure to the architecture for us, and to preservation of the details of the architecture, and down to, I did not change it if it could be salvaged. From the top of the roof all the way down to rebuilding the plumbing underneath the house, every aspect of this house had to be renovated. The restoration process was daunting. In addition to trying to add things that we'd like to have, like a wine cellar or a media room on the third floor, but the house had not been maintained. And if the heirs, the daughters, had not gotten a historical designation to protect this property, somebody would have torn it down because the property is just too beautiful itself, the land, the location. It's on a corner, it's in a park-like setting, so there's no way, I don't think that this house would have been salvaged. And once you started to look at the cost of everything from the top of the roof to rebuilding the plumbing, you could have built another house. This was a labor of love. Welcome to my dining room. We do a lot of entertaining here at Legend. I love to entertain, I love to cook, I love to have friends over, family. So this room was important to me that it make a statement. Starting with the beautiful wall covering. This is Ipsel. I went hog wild and picked a very dramatic print, and I love the teal background color. It just makes me feel warm and cozy. In the room, especially when we have the fireplace going, everybody loves coming to our dinners. The selection over here of china is a mixture of mine and then previous Dorothy's. So again, I think I told you that I bought something in every room from the estate. And this collection of Maison belonged to the Dorothy's. Very bold and very floral. Not typically what I would use, but they're great for decorative purposes. Some more of my lampshades. This is from our Maison Maison. This is a wonderful, beautiful post-impressionist painting that I bought in France, back in the 80s. Most of the things I have in my house, I've collected over the years. My mother was an interior designer as well, so I was always surrounded by beautiful things. And she taught me how to buy in auctions, taught me how to be smart and clever about my purchases. China that you see on the table, it's a collection of inherited pieces of mine. You'll see it when we get into the breakfast room. My collection is pretty vast. So for me, I always start with comfort. I always like to use this room. I have leather seats so that I don't worry about spills. I use these seagrass placemats come from my collection. I love the juxtaposition of the rough, natural texture compared to these very, very formal plates that I use. By the way, I use everything. It all goes in the dishwasher. I would say that pretty much any dishwasher will work, but if you will use the dishwasher, use it on the gentle cycle if you like, but the biggest deal that you need to remember is that they have to completely dry and harden. For instance, when these gold gilded pieces go through the dishwasher, the gilding gets very soft. And if you don't allow it to completely harden back and get cold, that's when you can get nicks into the gold. So I use everything I have. The sterling, the china, the crystal, all goes in the dishwasher. I make it easy for me, and I haven't had any problems since. My attitude is, if you have it, use it. Don't have it just sitting collecting dust in a closet. The chandelier is Baccarat, and it was original to the house. In addition to that, I bought these beautiful candelabras also from Dorothy's estate. So I just feel like the Dorothy's are with me all the time. And I think she's very proud of me for the entertaining we do. Another piece that just brings me great joy is this lovely little, sweet little country piece. My mother used to come with me on some of my buying trips in France, and one particular one, when we were there, we bought this down in South France. So to have it at my home now just keeps her with me. So I have been practicing design since I got out of design school in UT, and I predominantly work in Houston area, Texas. I've done projects across the country, some in Mexico. I've been a practicing interior designer since I graduated from college. And at that time, I mostly did my own work, while my husband at the time and I lived back and forth between Europe and Houston. That's when I lived in the first Briscoe house. After we divorced, I had to start my life all over again, and I needed to rebuild my portfolio. So in the process, I went back to Europe and started bringing in container after container from France and Italy and started a shop. And within that shop, I was able to rebuild a client portfolio and then focused on design while I still kept the shop, which was, raising 3 little boys was a lot to keep up with. About 2016, I decided that I wanted to move more into product design. So about that time is when I really launched my lampshade, my lighting business. I design privately for Curry & Company lighting, and I have designed lampshades, all sorts of lighting, tabletop, bath accessories. And we sell them all out of our permanent showroom in Atlanta. As an example of one of our little gems, these little shade covers pay the rent. Now I'm going to take you into the kitchen, but beforehand I want to show you something really special. Since we were tearing up so many of the walls in the house, we had the opportunity to get the guts in there. So one of the things we did was we added our own Downton Abbey bells. Come on in the kitchen, I'll show you who's not answering. Welcome to my kitchen. And the only person that's answering these bells is me. We thought it'd be fun to bring, I brought these in from England, as well as the stone. The tile came from, sourced out of London. But I found these bells, and I love Downton Abbey, and I thought, why not do that? It would just be in character with a house of this scale. So they're charming. We only have 5 of them. We have one in the master bedroom, the guest room, the library, the media room on the 3rd floor. Now, mind you, now we all have cell phones. Of course, we just pick up our phone and call someone, but it's a little character charm. This kitchen, I needed to be elegant because when we entertain informally in that I set up this bar, this island with the food, and let people select as they choose their portions. And I just feel like people feel more comfortable in that manner. So to me, I really wanted this to look more formal. I love my little jewel box. The little cornufait is actually not corn. The smaller one's a cornufait. Love it. Used the cooktop all the time. The special thing about the island, by the way, these are Curry & Company. Of course, everything I have is Curry & Company because I'm either designing it or it's theirs. I love my friends at Curry. Something to note, when we get to the breakfast room, I'll explain. There was a staircase in the breakfast room. These 4 posts were the newel posts of the stairwell. And the interesting thing about this, they're flipped upside down. The interesting thing about this is the Howe family had an old home on Harrisburg, and they salvaged that very Victorian-looking walnut staircase and banister and brought it here to this house. We demolished it because we wanted to create the breakfast room, but what we did was we salvaged all the newel posts to make the 3 corners, and we had to copy the other one to make the 4th corner of the island. Again, repurposing at any time I can. We have 2 dishwashers here. That's all I need. As I said, we use everything that when we entertain, and we put everything in the dishwasher. I've entertained a lot of people here, from 10, 6 to 150, and everything works well. Probably the piece de resistance of this kitchen is this stairwell. So previously, mind you, this house didn't even have a full-size refrigerator in this kitchen, but we had a stairwell that opened from here, and it was a steep pitch down to the basement, which was filled with all sorts of mechanical equipment. My husband has been in the wine business for, 20 years, and he wanted a wine cellar. So we flipped the staircase and then took it gracefully downstairs and built a wine cellar for him. Maybe I should show you the wine cellar before I take you to the breakfast room. So as I said, the wine cellar isn't terribly large, but it's plenty big enough for all the wine we can drink, and I drink a lot. Just to put a little plug in, we're Stewart Cellars, and we have our own wine, plus we carry French, everything else, but this is our brand. And do I have any left that she's not drinking? Here we go. Here we go. Just a plug for the wine business. Please buy Stewart Cellars. This is the breakfast room. This might be one of my favorite rooms in the house by far. We spend a lot of time in here. I use it for breakfast room, informal dining. I use it for card room, sitting room. Spend many times. In fact, this is typically what happens. Come on, Pops. That's her spot. So as you can imagine, this is outdoor fabric that's on this sofa. We spend a lot of time here. We enjoy the artwork. The artwork that you see, the 4 portraits are from my stepson. The pastel in the center is again something I found in auction, and it just reminds me very much of the Impressionist stage. Paris, San Francisco. This is my huge collection of china and crystal. I did not want to have just another painted cabinetry with lights in it. So I insisted on finding a piece of furniture, again, repurposing, that I could house all of my collection. And I love this. It's a bit heavy and Baroque, but the stature of it is just, I love it. Gives a warm and wonderful feeling to the space with all the patinaed wood. And then I went ahead and I painted inside of the cabinet so that it would showcase the art and crystal better. This light fixture is something I found in south of France, but it's holding my little shades that we make for Currying Company. This wallpaper, this is the 3rd house I've used it in. It's from Lewis and Wood, again out of England. I loved it so much that when we moved in this house, it was the very first decision I made. And I added the drapery, and it feels very fresh, yet dignified and old. So it's almost like it's a new rendition of a toile, if you will. So it's a combination of a toile and a woodcut, in my opinion. But I love, and the people at Lewis and Wood are wonderful to work with. My favorite painting in the house. It's just colorful and almost pointillism. Just one of my favorites. This house reflects my aesthetic of design. I like more of an old world, a grand tour kind of influence. I love antiques, I love modern art, but I like for a house to feel like it's got a lot of pedigree. So on all projects I've worked on with clients, and most people that were drawn to me were drawn because of what they saw in my shop. And it was more of a grand tour. There's an English chest, and there's a French bergère, and there's a gilded Italian artifact, or, Spanish Baroque. All those things mixed together, it gives a lot of interest to the room. I'm loving the fact that solution dyed acrylics and performance fabrics have come so far, because I love to have every room available. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a child or an adult. I've watched adults spill red wine glasses, so children probably are better behaved. But I love the fact that every room can be useful, and I intend that the upholsteries and everything should be with comfort. I would love for people to walk into my house and go, just take a deep breath and feel comfortable, feel at home and welcome. And they do. We have many, many parties, dinner parties. We've had a wedding here. We love to entertain, and it shows. And I think people really feel the sense of warmth here. Now we're in the entryway. This just sets the tone for the house. It's 14 feet wide. We've actually used it for dining in here. We've put in a full-scale dining table and had tables in the breakfast room, the dining room, and in the entry. My favorite piece in this room is this rent table. It is rent table, the alphabet is all around, and people would come in and they'd put their rent in the drawer that corresponded to their last name. Very charming and good feng shui too, because it breaks up. When you've got a door contrasting to another door, you need to have something round that's going to stop the flow of the qi from going out the door. This piece here is actually a sweet piece, a favorite of mine. My mother gave this to me, gosh, I was thinking of when I first moved in the other Briscoe house. And it's filled with all sorts of artifacts that are part of my life. A book I found in France, the Hummel collection that belonged to my grandmother, of course the old books, some cloisonné vases that used to belong to my mother, I love collections, and I love them contained. So this is a special piece for me. The rug is antique. It is, I believe this is a Kashan. Um, it's something that I bought for my husband, and it's gone through some wear, but the more well worn, the better for me. To show you something, I said there's something of Dorothy in every room. These beautiful tapestry pillows were part of her collection, and they actually sat in this room on these chairs, not in this fabric. Let me take you upstairs. This graceful stairwell reminds me of a house that I grew up in, and I have to laugh because I used to practice being, after the contestants of Miss America, I'd be in my little lawns of Salzburg flannel nightgown, and I'd pretend it was chiffon as I came down the stairs. So I always think about that when I'm ascending. This statue sat exactly here. It was another thing that I bought from the estate. It was so perfect here that I felt like I, needed to keep it within my family as well. Again, this is a room where I thought I would drape, swag and jabbo the windows, but I just love the austerity of the window as it is. And again, we didn't need it for privacy, so I chose not to drape it. So in this suite, we have my husband's closet, another suitcase closet, our elevator, which we use daily. And then this goes to our actual bedroom, and then to my suite and the sitting room. Come on, I'll show you the room. It's so nice to have a fireplace in the bedroom. And I think that this room is just the perfect size. It's no bigger than it needs to be. It works so well for us. My husband, if he's not sleeping, he goes that direction into his bathroom. I go this way when I get up in the morning and go work out. So it works for us very well. When we reconfigured this room, the previous headboard was on that wall. We shifted it over here, but that didn't allow me a lot of space for a nightstand. So again, went to my trusty auctions and sought out a piece that was just perfect for this space. This bed is probably my favorite bed I've ever had or ever seen. I love the chinoiserie painting on it. With that in mind, I came in and I wanted to continue to utilize our colors, but I wanted it warm and cozy, and I wanted the little bit of red to pick up the berries in the hand painting. Of course, Poppy sleeps with us, so that's why we had to have a big bed. She takes up a lot of space. This is an example of some of the antique tapestry pillows that I've sold out of my shop, for case in point, that I've sold out of my shop for years. I just love the beauty of the textiles, and I have a large collection. The antiques you see here, again, come from pieces that I found while I was in Europe. What I specifically love in this room, aside from the bed, the rug in itself, it's got some wear to it, but I love the wear that it has. And funny story, my good friend who's been my rug dealer for 30, 40 years, came here one day to see the house, and he walked in this room and he said, "Where'd you get that rug?" I said, "Well, I bought it out of an auction out of Cincinnati." He said, "It was from Josephine Abercrombie's estate, right?" And I said, "Yes." Isn't that funny? He had sold it to her many years before. So charming. I love that about it. The pelmets are also antique, and they, of course, set the tone for the color palette of the room. And that's what brought me to what I used with on the bed with the fringe ball fringe and the colors. I'd like to show you my husband's bathroom, which is really charming. Come take a look. I wanted to make this space for my husband feel more cozy. And so that's the reason for the whole barrage of art that you see on the walls, just to make it almost feel like a gallery. And it's interesting, when I told him I was putting this chair in his bathroom, he was like, "What am I ever going to do with that chair?" He sits in it daily. He checks messages, he sends emails, he falls asleep when he's reading. So anyway, it's a very cozy space. Come see my space. So this is the entry into my half of the bedroom, and it's what starts the second bedroom and bathroom that we took in to encompass the entire master suite. So this bathroom was here, it's just that everything that is in its spot was in a different place. It was this size. I don't think we added much more to it, we just did it better. We have a toilet hidden behind a little jib door there, and the special note in this room, these baguette sconces I found, and we added the brass railings to kind of just give a little bit more definition to a big old mirrored wall. And then I found this pretty little chandelier in New Orleans. Other than that, it's got a big, deep jacuzzi tub, which I use often, and I love my bathroom. And now let me take you through my closet to my sitting room. So every morning starts here, a cup of coffee, ends here with a glass of wine, just so you know. Come into the sitting room. This is my other favorite room in the house. I start every morning here and I end every evening here, usually with my husband in the evening. We watch TV here. This is the only space where we ripped up the old mantle and put in something with a lower profile that would allow us to drop the TV. It's filled with my collection of nudes. I think I took my inspiration from this originally from a Charlotte Moss office that she had. It was a gallery wall of lots of beautiful art. And I love the Pierre Frey. I have more Pierre Frey than is on there, but this is a Pierre Frey wallpaper. And I think it sets off our artwork really well. This specific chair with the Clarence House fabric on it came out of the estate. I bought it and it sat right here in this old room. So it's funny that it would end up, I didn't plan on it but it just felt that that works out well. And actually my husband loves to sit in that chair in front of the fireplace. The rug, the silk sofa, the Lisa Fine fabric, I like color and I like the vibrancy, and I felt like I needed to have a fairly strong color palette to balance out the art. So that's where that came from. These beautiful toll sconces came out of New York. And this little fixture, I have a pair of. One's in the guest room and this one. And I bought them years ago, and now it's made its home here in the sitting room. Added these window seats as well, and there's good storage underneath, which I won't show you because it's full of books. But the cushions are being made right now for these two pieces. They're also Pierre Frey. I just love that it helped to bring a little bit more character to the room. So that's why I felt like that was necessary. More intimacy. It's a very intimate room. It's got a lot going on in a very small space, but I like it. It's my private domain. Well, of course, I would tell you that antiques are the backbone of good design. Every room needs some patina of a beautiful mahogany or walnut chest. The other thing, of course, repurposing. It's important to me that we're reusing what's already been created. So I love my antiques. Of course, I love the patina of wood, but we love art, and I've got some wonderful pieces. I love the art. I think that gives such a expression of personality for the homeowners. Soul, color and patterns, art, wood, patinaed wood. To me, the meaning of the word home just exudes comfort, warmth. Hey, Homeworthy, thank you so much for coming to visit us here today at Legend. I so enjoyed showing you our home. Poppy and I are gonna go now, but thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.